second live stream I've ever done, so let me know if you're getting me, if this is even working. Not experienced enough at live streaming to even know. Now, what do I do? Check your guys' messages. Can't see any messages at the moment. Hit me with a message if you're watching this and you can hear me. Assuming this is all good. Oh, Brooke, it's afternoon in Kentucky in the US. Well, it's 8 o'clock in the morning here in Auckland, New Zealand, and it's pretty cold. Hello, Papa Carl. I'm glad this is all working. So yeah, crazy. So here we are. Charlie Watts, I had a bit of a look around last night. I'm not going to pretend to be the world's biggest expert on the Rolling Stones. Casual fan. Played quite a few of their songs in covers bands over the last 15, 20 years. And I was just looking at some stats and some information on the band. Formed in 1962. Just think about that for a minute. 1962 in one band? Crazy. Touring for 60 years. I just can't even imagine the power struggle that would have gone on over those years. I don't know what the relationship was like towards the end, but man, the dynamics, it's in a band, it's like, there's a saying that it's like having 4 girlfriends, or from the other side, if you're a girl, like having 4 boyfriends, I guess. And it can be a bit like that. It can be pretty hectic and just so much management sort of to take care of. Joe Quiggle, hello from Tennessee. Hello. If anybody does have a story, drop it in the comment there. I don't know if I'll be able to read it. It seems to just pop up and then disappear. I'm still not used to YouTube Live, so yeah, maybe I should be doing a few more of these just to get used to it. I've even attached a little microphone that just clips into the input on my iPhone, so hopefully you're getting my audio nice and clear. But I don't know. I've been gigging for however many years, here, but I can't imagine 60 years, and I certainly can't imagine 60 years in the same band. It's absolutely crazy. And a bit of a miracle, actually. So, formed in 1962 in London, and certainly with his passing, Joey Jordison recently, and before that, guys like Prince, David Bowie, Chris Cornell, really makes you think, it makes you realize I'm never going to see this person again live, which is just so sobering. And I never saw the Rolling Stones. Recall my younger sister went to a show here in Auckland, I don't know how many years ago, not that long ago. They were still older dudes at the show, and she said it was the best show she had ever seen. And no breaks, they just went crazy, on stage, jumping around. These are older men. And you might think of, perhaps your father is their age, and or your grandfather might be the age of the members in that band. Can you imagine your father or your grandfather jumping around on a stage like that? It's just absolutely mad. If anybody, I'm not looking for validation or I don't want to know how amazing everything looks or sounds, but just can someone hit me with a comment just to let me know that you're getting me sort of loud and clear. That'd be really helpful. Audio should be decent through this little mic. It's a little Rode Video Mic MEL, a little Rode thing that just snap locks into the iPhone input. These live chats, they're pretty nerve-wracking, you don't get in. What do we got here? Oh, loud and clear, thank you, Kerry. Tennessee and Carolina is hot. also in your neck of the woods. Sounds all good. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. You know, one thing I was thinking about this morning, actually, as I was eating my pancakes, is that you know, I had a younger student come in a few weeks back, and she, I don't know, she must be, I'd say 14, 15, and she asked to learn Beast of Burden by Rolling Stones. And anytime I get a request like that, I'm just, let's do it. We've got some real drumming. It's not copy paste. It's not just one beat that's just been, you know, copy pasted for an entire song. Exciting for me. Popped along to Drumeo, got the transcription, and you know, we just had a listen, and it's just amazing how different things are now to back then. I don't know what year Beast of Burden was from or what era of the band, but it's just so different. And here we've got this young girl who wants to learn, you know, she doesn't want to learn the latest, I don't know, Rihanna or whatever, Dua Lipa or something. She wants to learn this Rolling Stone song, and, you know, obviously could be like from parents or something. And you just listen to it, and it's so different. Early 80s, Brooke? Beast of Burden? Really? Okay, I didn't think it was that late. So that's interesting to me as well, because even in their early 80s period, it was messy. It was rock and roll. It's messy. That's a messy song. Oh, here we go. Moody Bastard. Beast of Burden was 1978 on Some Girls. Okay. I'll go with that. And it's messy. It's rock and roll. And I don't know. Hit me in the comments, but I think we've lost that. I think we've almost completely lost it. And I don't even know if you could get away with plain, you know, sloppy. Sounds like a derogatory term. It's not really when we're talking about rock and roll. Could you get away with that now? In this, you know, perfect, digitally perfect, grid quantized, everybody can magically sing in tune, and every drummer can magically play perfectly in time, according to modern albums and what you hear of new stuff. And it's got that beat, right? It's got that boom, cha, da, da, that those offbeat, displaced offbeat snare hits. And I think it was doing that little thing every, I'm going to bring up the chart right here. I think it was doing that little offbeat displaced snare thing every second bar. But not every second bar. Sometimes he'd do it when he felt like it, or when he heard someone in the band do something that inspired him to do that, or he heard a vocal that connected with him. And yeah, we've lost it. We've lost that. You can't be spontaneous if you're copy pasting music, right? I didn't expect to go off on this copy paste rant. Moody Bastard. His dynamics and Heartbreaker are nice. Daryl Bennett. He had a beautiful feel, just like Keith had a great feel. Oh, it's disappeared. Your comments disappeared. I'm gonna have to go back and read these comments. If you want me to read out your comment, maybe make it real short, just so I can certainly get to it. Let me hear you knocking had some cool hi-hats. R.I.P. Charlie. Indeed, Robert Kroger Jr. Just going to bring up, I'm just going to bring up on Drumeo the chart for Beast of Burden just to get into sort of what I'm talking about here. But hopefully you know what I mean, that it's just spur of the moment, almost like a jazzy mindset. A bit more of an improv-y band than like the Beatles. I always sort of compare Rolling Stones and the Beatles. Charlie Watts loved Charlie Parker and jazz. Yeah. And, you know, the traditional grip and, you know, the rake angle on the snare, certainly jazz influenced. Beast of Burden. Number of the Beast? No. There we go. Beast of Burden. So we've got here, just looking at the transcription. Tell you what, I've been promoting a little bit of Drumeo recently on the channel since I partnered up with them. And I need to do a video on this insane thing that Drumeo have where they've got like over 1,000 songs transcribed. So, I mean, you can get a free trial, 30 days free, if you, follow my link. You can get all these transcriptions. It is wild. I never thought about this with Drumeo. I never really thought about Drumeo in terms of, getting lessons and stuff, but the transcriptions, man. Okay, I found the Drumeo transcription here. What do we got here? We got boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, bap, bap, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, tap. So it's like every second bar, but as I listened through with the song with this young student, we noticed that it wasn't always every second bar. Sometimes there's an open hi-hat. Sometimes, he'll like miss-hit the snare. What do we got here? Robert Krober Jr. It's funny how mainstream media made them rivals, but they were actually good friends. Beatles and the Stones? Okay, yeah, I don't know a heck of a lot about... I haven't read any books or anything about the Stones or the Beatles. I need to. I really do need to. Sorry, I keep coming back to this Beast of Burden student story because for me, it just really summed up the Stones, and it summed up older music and new music. Got this real sheen, this gloss over new music. Even rock, even heavy music's got that perfect quantized gloss and perfectly singing in tune and everything. And this stuff, man. Beast of Burden, Miss You. What else? Honky Tonk Woman. The ones that I know from playing in bands, Satisfaction. Totally different world, Rock and roll, messy. I guess it's their own genre, becomes their own genre in a way. And it just is what it is, and it sounds like them. It's hard to sound like yourself when if everybody's using the same samples and everything's in time. It doesn't leave much. It doesn't leave much human. It doesn't leave much personality in there. And I think it's a real shame. Daryl Bennett, fantastic live drummer. Yeah, I need to do... I'm feeling like it's going to get blocked if I do a Charlie Watts video, but I'll try and check out Get Your Yayas Out. Beast of Burden always reminds me of my dad when I hear it. Yeah, it's really melancholy, kind of nostalgic sound. John Cymbal from Michigan. Hello. I love the way Charlie was playing smiling and laid back. Brooke, yeah. Classy guy. I heard a story on a podcast with... Oh, hold on. Moody Bastard. I was never a big RS fan, but my granddad loved them, and his favorite drummer was Charlie Watts. As I say, your comments are flashing up, and I really appreciate them. I'm going to go back and read them, but they disappear. I don't know if there's something in my settings I can change to just hold them up there for a bit longer. It's a bit scary, isn't it, when that hand comes at you? But your comments disappear pretty fast, so I don't get to read them. Now, what was I rambling on about? Yeah, John, 60 years is... You can just say, you can drop that. You can say, 60 years, that's a long time. Think about 60 years. I mean, I haven't even been alive 60 years, let alone been in one band for 60 years. I heard a rumor that they would travel separately. I mean, I've seen the Rolling Stones jet, the infamous, it's got the logo and stuff on it, but I heard a rumor at some point at least they were all traveling separately. Man, I don't critique them for that. I think anything to keep that train rolling, to keep that huge business and the entertainment and bringing the show to different parts of the world and all the fans, you do whatever you got to do. If that means you don't see each other until you hit the stage that night, absolutely fine. You know what? Some of you who are watching this have probably seen my son Connor. He's 7 and he's a budding YouTuber. he, everywhere we go, he tells people that I'm a YouTuber. Or, no, he tells them my dad, he's a YouTuber. You know, we go to a shop at the checkout getting something. Connor off to the side. My dad's a YouTuber. So he's quite keen to jump in on this video. Let me know if you want to see him. Yeah, you got so many good comments coming up here. I can't read them all. Okay, we've talked about Beast of Burden. Excuse me. I'm going to go back and bring up Start Me Up. Another one that I do in bands, or have done in bands for a long time. Now, have you listened to Start Me Up recently? Like, just critically listen. Sit down, put on some headphones, good headphones, and listen to Start Me Up. What a mess. What a train wreck. And again, that's not to, it's not to poke fun at the Rolling Stones. It's just such a mess. It sounds like you couldn't get away with that today. I don't know what's going on. It's hard to know what's genius and what's just a mistake and what they can get away with because they're famous. But you listen to the start, listen to the drum entry on Start Me Up. Man. Oh, Brooke, happy birthday. Is it your birthday? I'm going to bring up the chart for Start Me Up. Bear with me. Hey from England. Mikey. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to bring up Start Me Up. I know this is so exciting to watch someone typing into a computer and not looking into the camera. There we go. Start Me Up. Do yourself a favor. I'm sure a lot of you are nostalgically listening back to the Rolling Stones anyway today. But, man, I don't know if you guys can see this. Or if anybody here reads music. But look at that drum entry. It is all over the place. You know, typically you've got your backbeat, your snare hits on 2 and 4, and just a nice solid entry into a song. Start Me Up. It is all over the place. It's upside down. Crazy. You know, we've got 2 backbeats in the first 2 bars before he sort of gets the train back on the rails, and then we're but man, it's just, again, you listen to it and you think, they kept that in? They kept that in the song? And, you know, hey, that's the song now. But advice to drummers, don't try that intro in a band. The whole band, if you play what Charlie Watts plays on the drum entry and Start Me Up, the whole band is going to go, that is a mess. Start Me Up is a song for beginners. Yeah, it is. But I mean, the thing with Charlie Watts, the thing with Ringo, is they swing, man. They swing. Anybody who says, it's like quantum physics. Anyone who says they can play a Beatles song, they can't play a Beatles song. I mean, all those left-hand leads and the way Ringo plays, the way Charlie Watts plays, the way they swing, you know, that's sloppy, but they get to this weird thing where they're still sloppy and kind of untrained, but experienced. And they're just so inside their own songs because they're more or less playing their own band songs just year after year after year, and they evolve and they just play them great. Absolutely great. Charlie and Ringo, thumbs up from Robert Krober Jr. Yeah, man. You get a lot of people critiquing those guys as sloppy. I keep talking about them being sloppy. But yeah, it's you gotta look at what the goal is and the era that they're playing in, the era that they learnt their craft in, the style of music, and you can't argue with album sales either. Like I was having a look again, at some info on the Rolling Stones. I believe the 20th highest selling act of all time, 200 million units sold. So it's a little bit like the Metallica Lars thing. People love to take shots at Lars. People love to take shots at Ringo and Charlie Watts. But really, the units sold don't lie. And there's something going on. People are connecting with the music. And they're doing something right. I mean, if I sold 200 albums, I'd be happy. 200 million? Come on. There's a point where you're beyond critique. You are literally a legend at that point. Tell you one thing, I was having a look. This was on Wikipedia. I was looking at the highest albums sold, and it was in the top 20. I don't think anyone in there particularly surprised me, other than one artist, Rihanna. Rihanna is in the top 20 selling artists of all time. Crazy. Brooke, Ringo had a ton of different songs to play in a short amount of time. Yeah, do you mean live or in the Stones' career? I'm just going to bring up that chart again. Highest selling bands. Does that sound Rihanna in the top 20 of all time? I don't know how they're doing this either. With digital, it gets a bit murky when we're talking digital. What is a stream? Is that a unit? I don't know. I don't know how they work this out. Rihanna is 9th. Number 1, the Beatles. Number 2, Elvis. Number 3, Michael Jackson. That's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid top 3. Elton John, Madonna, Led Zeppelin, Rihanna, Pink Floyd. Yeah. Does that surprise you guys? Rihanna at 9th? 250 million sales. That's wild. Eminem 11th? I don't like to throw shade. You probably notice on the channel I never throw shade. I have to say, real quietly, I don't get Eminem. I do not get Eminem. Just gotta say it. Taylor Swift 12th. Okay, there's a few more modern artists in here. Mariah Carey 13th. Queen, Eagles, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, AC/DC, Rolling Stones. So Rolling Stones come right in there at 20th. And after that, oh gosh, Justin Bieber's not too far behind. He's catching up. All you believers out there. So yeah, hey, I don't know how long I want to make this video. Robert Krober Jr., I had Let It Bleed and Hot Rocks on 8-track. What is 8-track? That's a bit before my time, 8-track, so I need to get onto that. So was there such a thing with some people had like an 8-track in their car or something? I don't know. I don't even know what 8-track is. But yeah, I don't know how long to make this video. I don't know if this type of live stream with me just rambling on and attempting to read your messages that are flashing up and then disappearing. I don't know if this is interesting to you guys, but yeah, I thought it's certainly worth at least trying to do something to remember the legend Charlie Watts. Oh yeah, I was going to say there was a story I heard on a podcast And I believe it was with Kurt Busquera, a famous session drummer, and he filled in with Mick Jagger, not with the Stones, but with Mick Jagger, solo. And he was talking about how classy these guys are. Like these big rock stars, classy. And I think he said, they don't wear a wallet. They never take a wallet out because it would put a crease in their pants, and that's just not smooth. Card, go out, just take a card in the pocket. Want to keep those pants flat and sharp. Class, man. Talking classy dudes, classy bands, and acts with some real class. And I really like that. We just had a flurry of messages here. What happens? Oh, no. Can I bring up the messages? Because they're just popping up on the side and then they're gone. Rastan, I always thought the drums and Sympathy for the Devil were pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, just so many cool ideas in all these songs. Paint It Black's a classic. That I just think of, was it Tour of Duty? The Vietnam TV show that used Paint It Black. I think I've got the right one. I always think of that show when I hear Paint It Black, and it's just such a strong connection. It just, always reminds me of that. And that kind of music, or this kind of music, so nostalgic, just takes you back to a place so vividly. It's amazing. And I don't know. Oh, yes, it was. Thank you, David. Yes. Yeah, Tour of Duty, Paint It Black. I think the show had all kinds of that kind of era music. And you know what I don't have? I don't have my coffee. Or my Drums and Coffee mug. Kind of feel a little bit naked here without it. But any final thoughts before we sign off? 27 minutes? I've been rambling at you guys for 27 minutes. My apologies. Any final comments before we call it a day, a morning, a night, perhaps wherever you are? Coming up 8:30 a.m. in the morning here. It's crazy to think how much drumming has evolved since the 60s and 70s. Rastan, no coffee, sacrilege. I did have a coffee this morning. Stamatis, how do you feel about these musicians, all these musicians past the 2 or 3 last years? Oh man, it's just incredibly sad. From a selfish point of view, the thing that you're never going to see them. I mean, obviously for their family. Hold on, David B., what happened to the NZ podcast? On hold, because YouTube is taking up all my time. But it's coming back, man. 8-track designed for the Learjet. Really? It was designed for the Learjet? I need to investigate it. 8-track. Sounds like something that would be good for a set. Hold on. 8-track, some kind of vintage, like music thing. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff. I'm going to build out a proper set. 8-track, that looks like the kind of thing I'd want just popping around. Some little nostalgic things around the set. Seeing the Stones in Houston 1976. Backup band was Bob Marley. Wow. That's a lineup. Bob Marley supporting the Stones. What a gig. Man, Bob Marley. No one ever requests Bob Marley. And I see Bob Marley and James Brown very similar. Just long periods of groove. Pie Maker, will you do a cover of a Stone song? I'd love to. I think it would get blocked, but I would love to. I wouldn't be able to do it justice. The messiness is so hard to replicate. Much easier to replicate modern music with, because everything's kind of the same velocity and everything. With those old songs, it's impossible to bury the track because there's just so much going on. Ghosts and mishitting cymbals and the snares different here, and yeah, it's a good idea though. I'd love to. Rush number 1 and the warning number 2 agree. Ooh, I'll leave that for the tribe. What does everyone think? I'm digging the warning though. I need to check out more of them. Very, very cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I probably didn't talk as much about Charlie as I would like to. Just sort of reminisced about some of my experiences playing and teaching his drum parts. But yeah. R.I.P. Charlie Watts. And you know what's even more awkward than someone who doesn't know how to use YouTube Live? I don't know how to stop the stream. This might end up being like a marathon YouTube session because, yeah, I don't know how to turn it off. I think Andrew enjoyed it. Thank you, sir. Much love. RIP indeed. Yeah. Yeah, just incredibly sad. Wonder what's going to happen with the group. Yeah, they're a hard-working band. They'll want to get out there. Well, they would have wanted to get out there. Who knows what's going to happen now. Good night, Stamatis. Appreciate all your comments, man. Appreciate everybody's comments. I think you can slow motion the live chat on your end. Rush is probably the best. Take care. That who's the best argument. I love that. You can just, respectfully go around forever talking about that. Alan, hey man. All right, dudes, with that, 32 minutes I think is more than enough of looking at my big round bowling ball head and listening to me talk at you. I'm going to sign off, hopefully, if I can figure out how to sign off. And I will see you. Tomorrow's going to be a real treat, the video popping up tomorrow. So look out for that. And yeah, thanks as always for subscribing, contributing to the chat. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to go back and read everyone's comments. Rest in peace, Charlie Watts. Ciao.